If the checkered flag at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix signaled the end of the 2024 World Championship, the post-season Pirelli test day at Yas Marina brought the motorsport season to a full close. What happened on the track during the day could be seen as crazy or shocking, as, despite the fact that it has only been 2 days since the previous GP, numerous new components have already been introduced in preparation for 2025. And next to that, we saw Sainz, Hülkenberg, and Ocon driving for their new teams, as well as some junior drivers fighting for a new spot, such as Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. Before getting into the merits of the last day of school in Formula 1, let's take a look at the drivers that competed for the World Circus teams. As previously stated, in addition to the usual drivers, each team fielded a rookie driver in one of the 2 cars who would participate in the post-season test session reserved for young drivers. Following the sequence established by the new constructors' rankings, McLaren drove with 2 regulars, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, who were joined by Pato O'Ward for the rookie testing. Instead, Ferrari took Charles Leclerc onto the track among the regulars, accompanied by his brother Arthur and Antonio Fuoco, who alternated between the morning and afternoon sessions. Red Bull instead used Yuki Tsunoda and Isaac Hadjar in the RB20. Mercedes, like Ferrari, fielded 3 drivers, with George Russell driving the entire day, followed by Frederic Vesti in the other car and Andrea Kimi Antonelli at the end. There were no regulars in the Aston Martin lineup, which included Felipe Drugovich and Jack Crawford. Jack Doohan, who had made his debut in Abu Dhabi the previous weekend, was joined at Alpine by Paul Aron. 2 fresh faces at Haas, beginning with Esteban Ocon, who drove for the first time at Yas Marina following Alpine's early exit. Ryo Hirakawa went to the track in the other car. The Racing Bulls lineup included Liam Lawson and Ayumu Iwasa, while Carlos Sainz's first day of work with Williams came following a taste of the FW46 on Monday's filming day, along with the former Ferrari driver, youngster Luke Browning. Sauber was the only team to run a 2025 combination, with Nico Hülkenberg partnering Gabriel Bortoleto, who participated in the rookie practice after winning the F2 championship last Sunday. Shifting the focus to what transpired on the track, Pirelli's test schedule was divided between race drivers and rookies. The race drivers got the final version of the 2025 compounds from C2 to C6, while the rookies had the 2024 tyres. In an official statement issued at the end of the day, Pirelli summarised the tyre allocation for the test session. The junior drivers had a total of 8 sets of tyres available, 2 sets of C3, 4 sets of C4, and 2 sets of C5. The other drivers had 10 sets available, 1 set of C2, 3 each of C3 and C4, 2 sets of C5, and 1 set of C6, the new ultra-soft compound that will widen the 2025 range and is apparently planned for usage on select street circuits next year. The only compound not employed was C1, which was not appropriate for the Yas Marina plan. Charles Leclerc led the Abu Dhabi test timings on the final day of racing in the 2024 Formula 1 season. With 40 minutes left in the 9-hour day, Leclerc took the lead. He was driving Ferrari's tyre test car with 2025 spec Pirellis, while brother Arthur and development driver Antonio Fuoco shared the mileage in its young driver test car for individuals who have not started more than 2 World Championship races. Leclerc's pace pushed Mercedes driver George Russell out of first place, but in the last half hour, Williams newcomer Carlos Sainz finished second, 0.125 seconds slower than Leclerc. This was Sainz's first full test in the Williams Mercedes FW46, though he had previously tested it on Pirelli's Academy tyres on a filming day at the circuit on Monday, and he completed the second highest amount of laps, 146. Leclerc and Sainz posted their laps on the C5 compound, while Russell's fastest lap was on the new C6. Sauber newcomer Nico Hülkenberg completed the top 4 with a time just under 3.5 tenths off the pace. Sauber's whole all-new 2025 lineup was in action, with freshly crowned F2 champion Gabriel Bortoleto posting the 17th best time. Kimi Antonelli was the fastest of those classified as young drivers, setting a best time 0.363 seconds off the pace for Mercedes. His Pirelli tyres were 2024 spec, as were those of all of the authorised young driver entries. Antonelli sat out the first part of the day, still dealing with the effects of a fever that kept him out of last weekend's Formula 2 season finale. This allowed Frederik Vesti to drive the Mercedes for the first part of the day, completing 55 laps before turning it over. Esteban Ocon, making his Haas debut, focused on high-fuel racing in the early part of the day before climbing the timesheets to post the 10th fastest time, one position below Alpine rookie Paul Aron. Ayumu Iwasa, the fastest of Red Bull's 4 drivers, finished 6th overall. Liam Lawson, driving the RB tyre test car, finished 13th and completed the most laps with 159, while Yuki Tsunoda finished 17th for Red Bull after achieving his fastest time in the last 2 minutes. And especially Tsunoda's time and test was a big deal, as after 4 years, he finally has the opportunity to drive a Red Bull and make his case. Yuki Tsunoda characterized the Red Bull car as very different from what he is used to following a promising first test for the squad on Tuesday at Yas Marina circuit. The Japanese driver was eventually granted a real test in one of Red Bull's cars at the post-season Abu Dhabi tyre test. While lap timings were essentially unimportant due to the many run programs being used, Tsunoda stated that he had never been happier than while lapping in the RB20, which placed 3rd in the 2024 Constructors' standings. You can physically feel why the RB20 has been fighting for a championship this year. It feels like a very different car to drive, he said. We have had a very proactive day today, so I am really happy with that. There is still a lot of learning that I have to do, but the team have done a great job of preparing such a great run today. It's been such an enjoyable atmosphere in the garage. Tsunoda stated before to the run that he anticipated to be well suited to the car's characteristics after testing it in the simulator, and this proved to be true. I feel like the car suits my driving style, and I haven't struggled much at all to adapt, he said. Even on the long runs, I have been able to run consistently today, and was able to feel the limitations of the car, which if you don't have confidence in the car, you are unable to test. I am happy more than ever at the moment, and making sure that the team have the information that they require from each run was the most important thing to get out of today. Tsunoda is hopeful that favourable feedback from the test would persuade Red Bull's management to elevate him to the main squad next year if it decides to dismiss Sergio Perez. The outfit had previously been hesitant to do so due to worries regarding Tsunoda's attitude and degree of technical expertise. However, it was fascinating that head of performance Ben Waterhouse later stated that he was impressed with how the 24-year-old performed. We had Yuki in our car for the first time, and Isaac Hadjar driving RB20 again following his recent outing in FP1 at the race weekend, he said. We successfully completed the key test items on both cars, with both drivers performing at a very high level and providing precisely what we expected of them. Yuki provided excellent feedback on the various tests performed on the 2025 Pirelli tyres, offering valuable insight on the tyre changes Pirelli will introduce for next year, while Isaac did a great job and successfully completed all the Procedura Aero tests in the morning, before performing both long and short runs, evaluating a range of test items in the afternoon. The next on-track appointment is scheduled for the end of next January, when the 2026 tyre development process will continue on the French circuit of Magny-Cours. The World Championship Circus will officially return to the circuit from February 26th to 28th for the 2025 season's first testing, before heading to Australia on March 14th to 16th for the start of the next Formula 1 World Championship. So, what do you think? Has Tsunoda made his case? Will Red Bull make drivers' changes next season? And will any of these times even be representable when the drivers hit the track again next year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.